Hey guys, Cuban Shark here. I am providing in this video a playthrough for the upcoming Ryder Cup mini 9-hole tournament. There's two chances to qualify, as with the previous 9-hole, the Sakura Hills. This one is for qualifying is for 2 days, September 24th and 25th, and one game day, which is Saturday, September 26th. Now, the one thing different about this 9-hole course is that a lot of these holes rely a lot on elevation. So one of the things that I've added to the video, in addition to the recommended balls and clubs, is I'm also adding what I would recommend as additional elevation percentages. So it's just kind of a little layer that you need to learn, and if you're not comfortable with elevation, please go to the go to the Facebook page rather, and look up the video on elevation. That's going to be very, very helpful. So without further ado, please enjoy and let me know if this video has been helpful to you in this upcoming tour. So for hole number one, I am recommending either the Apocalypse or the Quarterback. Now in this shot, I'm using a big topper, so it is a very viable option. I'm just trying to get as far up that right piece of strip, or that fairway, as possible. But you can comfortably do this shot with either of the other two clubs mentioned, and you can play to the left. You do have the ability to play to the left. If you stay too far to the right on the left fairway, you're going to have the sand bunker somewhat in place. So the better option is to hit right, and it does allow for a better opportunity to eagle this shot. Now, the big topper is very helpful in this shot because it allows you to just get as far up ahead as possible. So I've mentioned in previous videos, sometimes you select your ball based on not necessarily your first shot, but sometimes your second, and in rare cases your third. But the reason I selected the Kingmaker here is because the Kingmaker gives me the power, but also 3 bars of side spin, which allows me to stay away from the rough and not run the risk of clipping it or even ending up in the sand. So even though in this, spoiler alert, I ended up hitting this as a great shot and got very close to the rough, if I would have done that with a ball with 2 bars of side spin, I would have definitely clipped it and ran short, or maybe even rolled back into the sand. So keep that in mind. And also, this green has a 20% elevation component, which you need to add to your win factor, just as an FYI.
Nice on.
So just as with the other part threes in this tournament, there are a couple of different ways that you can play these shots. And the best way that I've found to play these par threes is from the front, or in other words, to get as close to the green as possible on your initial shot. Otherwise, your ball will be affected more by the elevation, because the further the ball, or the less the ball's in the air, the more or the less the ball's affected by the wind. So I selected the Guardian on this particular shot, using no less than 5 bars of backspin, and the Kingmaker, not so much for power, but for the wind resistance, just because this is a very quirky par 3 like the other ones. Very, very difficult to read. So if you're going to play it from the back, play it from the first fairway, piece of fairway.
Perfect
using
shot.
2.5 bars of top spin, pointing directly at it using a sniper, or the way that I just took the shot, which is the Guardian. Either way, it's very difficult to make a hole-in-one in this par 3. So for hole number 3, just as with most of the par 5 holes, I'm recommending an extra mile club and a power 3 ball. And I consider this to be a pretty simple, actually definitely the simplest, the easiest rather, par 5 in the game. And again, there are 2 ways to play it. I played it to the right because it just gives me a straight shot. Not on the second, on the second shot, it gives me, you know, just a straight fairway. And I believe this shot is the one that has the most ability to albatross on, but it's definitely a decent eagle. elevation on the green on the second shot has a 10% elevation factor to it. But just right now, just concentrate on not overpowering the ball and ending up in the rough on the front end of this strip of fairway. So for this second shot, I'm doing something I don't normally do, and that is actually adding a little bit of topspin to my shot with the sniper, and that's because of that slight elevation on this green, and I'm allowing the ball guide to just touch the hole, literally guide my shot directly into the hole. Under normal circumstances, if this green was a little bit, it was flat or just a little bit beneath where you were sitting from your from your hitting point, it would be too strong and it would be an overpowered shot. But it works because of the slight elevation. Here there is a 10% of that elevation, and I'm just slightly pulling the ball. I mean, you can hardly see it, but I am adjusting the ball just a tiny little bit to the left, because I know that regardless, as the ball is traveling, it does tend to pull, the wind does tend to pull it towards its direction. So this was an opportunity before. I think this is the best opportunity to get. So just as with the other par threes, I am using the Guardian for this shot. And the reason is so I don't have to shoot from that first piece of fairway. I want to shoot, again, as close to the green as possible. Now here I'm using a power 3 ball, a Kingmaker, again, because of its curl ability, or side spin ability rather. And I'm going to use my club at maximum backspin with at least 2 bars of right spin. And because this wind is facing me, and there is the elevation, 30% elevation factor, I am over adjusting just to make sure that I don't end up in the sand like I have in the past with this shot. So I will be honest with you, this is take the birdie and run type of a scenario. Just as long as you understand that, you'll be fine. So as I like to say, for hole number 5, you've got to take out your big guns. That is a big dog, an extra mile for your first shot, a big dog for your second shot, and if you've got it, a power 5 ball. For a couple of reasons. There's 2 challenges with this par 5. Number 1, you've got that thin strip of fairway that if you don't hit excellent, you do run the risk of falling into the rough. Now, even though I adjust a little bit in case I don't hit perfect, because I don't always hit perfect, I still managed to clip the rough on this first shot, spoiler alert, but it did allow me to roll out into the fairway, so it was still a safe shot. Now, for me to comfortably get onto the green, or in order for me to get an eagle on this shot, I recommend a power 5 ball, because you've got a long fairway, and the big dog, even though it's a powerful club, it's still not enough to get you there. And so as you can see, even with a power 5 ball and a big dog wood, it's still not an easy shot to get onto the green. The additional caveat to it is, as mentioned in other holes, this green is slightly elevated, so you've got to overpower this shot on purpose. So imagine if you did this with a less powerful ball, you're gonna struggle a little bit more. And this is about making it a little bit easier for you. So even though I got very close to the sand bunker, thank God I didn't hit it, but I didn't make it onto the green. With that shot, I did, however, get close enough to be able to putt this in safely. And I'll mention this again, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I like the Firefly, not so much because of its accuracy, but because it allows you to do a maximum topspin higher than the other wedges, and so it allows you to reduce the bullseye. So in essence, it is a more accurate club when you play it that way. So this shot was a relatively simple shot, close enough thanks to the power 5 ball. Perfect shot. Just as long as you hit perfect from that distance, you should be fine. So in par 4s, I'm a little bit more of a risk taker, because par 4s is where you have the opportunity to make an eagle and really get ahead of your opponents. So for this shot, I did choose the big topper, and I chose the big topper because I wanted to get over that sand bunker, and it's got enough topspin to allow me to do that. Just understand your club, make sure you understand the wind and how it affects your club, and adjust appropriately. But if you do that, you can even over curl the shot, and you're fine because the green on the other side is wide enough for this. I'm using a power 3 ball. Again, Kingmaker, great ball because it's got the side spin I need in case I need it. It's got the power I need. So it's just an overall great ball for tournaments. Now you could definitely take this or play this hole to the left, but I, again, am mentioning of the risk because I want to get as close to the green as possible to increase my probability for making. And especially for this green, even though I got to be honest with you, all of these greens on this tournament are really strange just in general. But this one, if you do get close enough, even with a less upgraded short iron, you're going to have the right amount of ball guide to help you make this shot better. And so again, I want to remind you guys to size up your club so you understand whether you're playing it at minimum, at mid, or at max level on any of your clubs, but particularly when you're this close to your your hole, so you can try to eagle this shot. And I got very close. As you can see, proper speed. I didn't overpower it too much. Hopefully I'll do better in the actual tournament. So for hole number 7, we come to the last par 3 of the tournament, but no less difficult than the previous 2. And just as with the previous 2, I'm using a Guardian. This one I'm using a Guardian not only obviously to be as close to the green on the first drop, but also because the back end of this green slopes down. And if you come in, even if you don't come in hot, you do have the tendency of rolling. And if you come in at a certain speed, you will end up in the rough. So the Guardian helps you slow the ball down. Maximum backspin plus a 30% elevation component to the shot. So I'm not expecting a hole-in-one even in the tournament. But if you play this, you will set yourself up for an easy birdie. Hole number 8 is a par 4 that can appear to be a little intimidating. Just like with previous holes, this has 2 strips of thin fairway. And to be able to get close to the green, you really got to play this accurately. So take your time. Make sure that you understand your club and how it's affected by the wind. Now, I took a very aggressive shot here because the wind wasn't that strong, but I would not recommend this shot most of the time because it is not going to work for you if the wind is facing forward. You're going to end up in the rough. So to get a decent shot at making an eagle on this hole, I would recommend you not play it this way. I would play it to the left, maximum top spin. The big topper is a great club for this. But as long as you're not ending up in the sand, even if you hit the rough, you still will be able to get on the green in 2. However, a side note to that is I play with power 3 balls and par 4s because I want to be able to get close and not have to struggle too much. In case I do hit the rough or end up in the sand, I've got a little more power in my ball to be able to get up on the green or get to where I need to go. So keep that in mind. This does have a 10% elevation, as you probably saw it when the aerial took that spin. And I am setting this up with my Hornet. I find the Hornet to be the most accurate of the short irons, and I'm very comfortable with that. And because I've got the wind is almost literally going, directly forward. I don't have to adjust so much. So I got lucky in this shot, and I did manage to make an eagle on here. But it's also important to understand elevation. Eagle! Underpower or overpower the shot when taking it. So the last hole number 9, is another par 5 that I recommend that you take out your big gun. So make sure that you've got a big dog in your bag and no less than a power 3 ball. And not so much for the first shot. Again, you could play it on the left and roll down, but if you want to play it safe, or a little safer rather, you want to use that little piece of green fairway there to the right hand side. Now, if you look at it, you'll notice that it tends to slope down onto the sand, So just be careful when you take that first shot. You might want to use 2 bars of backspin when taking this shot so that you don't run the risk of rolling in, because if you do, it's almost impossible to get an eagle on this shot.
Perfect shot.
And so here on this second shot is where you're going to notice why I say to take out the big guns. I'm using a power 3 ball, but I'm having to use some topspin to get onto the green. And unfortunately, the big dog is known for power but not accuracy. And because I don't have the best ball guide, I'm not really sure where this ball is going to end up. I still took a shot, and I did, thank God, I ended up onto the green. However, at the back end of the green, it could have turned out ugly. It didn't. So that's why if you use a power 5 ball, you'll comfortably be able to move up onto that little piece of fairway and take your shot a little more comfortably with a couple of bars of backspin, so you can slow the ball down and this doesn't occur to you.
Nice.
So again, guys, thanks for watching, and let me know if this video has proven to be helpful, and if there is one particular shot that you'd like to see in a different way. I did play this mini tournament with multiple profiles, so I do have some more footage that I can provide. So again, thanks and good luck out there, and let me know how your game turns out, and if you've got some great shots, please share them by posting them in our Gorilla Farm Facebook page, which is Gorilla Farm GC. Good luck, guys.